Welcome to our post-game edition. Penn State beats Purdue 23-18 to improve to 6-1 and 3-0 in the Big Ten. And that's the most important thing, as we discussed last week. A lot of problems in this game, though. Really a wild, crazy game with some wild plays.
Yeah, kind of a fun game to watch. I mean, Purdue's not a good team. I'm not really sure Penn State is either. But unlike some years where they've lost a lot of games, they're starting to win the close games. And I think that's something that they can really build on.
Well, Joe had a great answer on this when he was asked, hey Coach, what's the difference in winning these close games? He said, the score. which is comical. And that's the thing. We spent a lot of time talking to a bunch of different Penn State players and coaches after the game about really the respect factor kept coming up over and over from a lot of different reporters. And there are more than 100 reporters in the media room after a game. Many of them were asking the same kinds of questions. Do you feel like you're getting respect? Do you feel like this team is actually as good as a 6-1 record would indicate?
Yeah, and they're kind of fortunate because they've been on the edge a couple times. Obviously, they could have lost the Temple game. Last week. I mean, their margin for error has not been, but they've kept their poise, and I think that's there have been other years. Even go back to '85 when they were in a lot of really tight games. And I'm not saying this is as good a team as the '85 team or even the '85 defense, because I was a little disappointed in the Penn State defense today. But they're winning close games, so I think they can build on that, because most people felt that their season was going to swing and be defined by what they did in the second half of the year.
Well, we know the offense has got its problems, but as long as the defense plays well, they can stay in a lot of these games. But as you mentioned, Purdue came out here, and this isn't a great Purdue offense. This isn't a Drew Brees, Kyle Orton Purdue kind of offense. They have a quarterback situation themselves. But their two kids, Bolden, Ralph Bolden, their running back, and Akeem Shavers, they ran for more than $160, and Purdue was able to move the ball a little bit. I thought they took advantage of this Penn State defense in some areas, and especially on the ground, which surprised me.
Yeah, in the first half, they ran for 115 yards in the first half. I think Penn State buckled down better in the second half, but I was surprised at how well they were able to run really in between the tackles.
All right, still the quarterback issue. Rob Bolden played the first quarter. Matt McGloin played the second quarter. Bolden played the first series of the second half, and then McGloin finished out the game. Tough day for Bolden, although didn't get a lot of opportunities. Scored a touchdown on one of his 3 drives. McGloin played decent, and he had a couple of good drives, but he also threw an interception on first down. That was the key. And this is kind of the issue with McGloin. He can put together some numbers and put together some drives, but the interception he threw was a forced pass, Neil, on first down at the 23. It's not 3rd and 9. It's first. You just can't make that throw.
And that's 2 weeks in a row where he's been intercepted in the end zone on throws that he shouldn't have made. You got to help him too, as far as the coaching staff. I don't know. I know, Jay Paterno says in the red zone, some of their problems, and Ray Eckenrod says this, score before you get to the red zone. Well, that's true. Maybe take a couple shots, but it's a windy day, and last week you pounded the ball down Iowa's throat in the fourth quarter when you had to. First down at the 23, that turns out to be a play that they could have maybe put the game away with a touchdown.
131 yards for Silas Red. He continues to look really good. The offensive line doing a better job with run blocking. So we're right where we thought we would be.
I want to throw out, I thought the special teams won the game today.
Yeah, Anthony Farah. Can you make Devin Still, I think, is the MVP of the team. Would you agree with that at this point? Or would Red be there? I mean, Devin Still's having a great
It's an interesting discussion. I think Matt McGloin would have to be in the conversation.
Yeah, you're right.
Also.
I was going to say Farah. I mean, where would this team be without Anthony Farah? 69-yard punt today.
Yeah, that might have been the play of the game, or they clinched the game. Kicks off really well. It was a super windy day today. 44 yards that he averaged on a punt. It was 3 for 3 in field goals. Kicks a 40-yarder when they had to have it. So, and Chaz Powell gets the big kickoff return, 92 yards.
Bogus penalty. I mean, if that's the rule, then that's a stupid rule. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The kid throws the ball up 2 yards in the air. You've got crazy football players doing all kinds of celebratory things, and he gets 15 yards for that.
Really a bad, I think, just an over-interpretation of the call.
Yeah. All right, so again, they're 6-1. They're right where everybody thought they were. They're going to play Northwestern next week, and Northwestern's not a strong team. Then they've got Illinois, and Illinois lost today. Didn't look good at all against Ohio State. And then they've got the big three, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Wisconsin. And I still don't think they win any of those final 3 games, not based on the kind of team we're seeing. I've wondered if they could beat Illinois, but Illinois, I thought, took a pretty big step back today.
Yeah, I don't know. I think other than Wisconsin that everybody's beatable, very beatable. And I think this team is starting to believe in itself
I think
a little bit
Nebraska's
more.
going to be able to score on them. I really do.
They probably are, but I don't know how. Ohio State doesn't have that great of an offense either. So I think it's shaping up as an exciting finish to second half of the season. They can beat anybody, and anybody can beat them.
Well, that's a great thing. I mean, if they beat Illinois, that'll be a nice boost because that'll be really the first probably good team.
They have not been a good road team.
No.
They did not play well against Indiana or Temple.
If they can beat Nebraska, to me, Week 10, that way, that gives you some hope and opportunity for those final couple of weeks against Ohio State and Wisconsin. If they don't beat Nebraska, well, then it's not a bad season, but you're probably still looking at 9-3, 8-4. But if they can beat Nebraska, you at least go into the Ohio State game in Columbus thinking that you've got a pretty good shot.
I think we're ahead of ourselves a little bit, just because I think if they can roll into the open date at 8-1, all of a sudden, it's like last week. Everybody's euphoric over beating a mediocre Iowa team, and then you're ready to kick the stool out, when they play badly. So that's the nature of probably college football, especially because there's no playoff.
But I think you would probably agree with this. This is not a great Penn State team. They're 6-1 because the schedule has set up perfectly for them. They didn't have to play one of the quality Big Ten teams the first few games of the season. They open up with Indiana, a down Iowa team, and then Purdue.
I don't disagree that at this point it's not played. It has a chance to be a real good defense, and I think these special teams with Farrah are coming around. And it may not be a great Penn State team compared to other Penn State teams, but if they can win these next 2 games and roll into an open date and then approach the Nebraska game first of all, it'll be senior day, and there's going to be a lot of speculation. This could well be Joe's last game here. They might be tough to beat that day.
23-18. Did you have that one in your pregame pool?
I'm 1-6 against the number now.
But I'll tell you what, Purdue had a lot of opportunities. Purdue had opportunities to win this game. You miss a PAT, you miss a 44-yard field goal. After you miss the PAT, the kid comes out and kicks the ball out of bounds, gives Penn State the ball at the 40, and another time they score, they give up the 93-yard kickoff return to Chaz Powell.
So you're Purdue.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, for Neil Rudel, I'm Corey Geiger. Thanks for tuning in.